Who is it?
Oh, for God's sakes. Am I on screen yet or not? Oh, I suppose I am because I'm talking. Would an ape make a human doll that talks? Well, anyway, here we are in 2022, and I've got to tell you because it was so funny. My hello, Sir James Nichols, like a pickles, and we want to see Jimmy Nicol at the 60th anniversary because it's not the 50th. I mean, it's much more important. It's the 60th anniversary of the Ed Sullivan Show coming up, so it's very, very important. The 60th anniversary, yes, very, very important. And the 65th anniversary is also very, very important. Yeah, well, that's what they think. Yeah, so it's a big deal, this Beatles Fest. Well, it's not. It's just an excuse for people to go and see some washed out, crummy, fucking useless sodomites and bastards and Andy One-Legs. And it's a fucking cheap bastard show. It really is. It's like Disney World without the Disney. It's awful. It's awful. It's like Magellan without the Philippines. Yeah, I mean, we all know about Magellan now, thanks to Klaatu. And I've got something funny to say about Klaatu because, because there I was thinking it was just a random idiot on Rachel's stream. I didn't realise that it was the great man who's been mentioned a lot. I've heard his name a lot coming up. You know, when these old farts that like the Beatles and the Stones and all that, and they start talking about extra groups, you know, to try and sound smart. And, oh, don't you remember the 5 Dog Day? Yes, they were great, weren't they? Or whatever. And then all of a sudden, guess what? Klaatu name's been getting around. Oh, be died. Listen, I'm gonna address you directly. When you told me that you was at the front of the queue for Klaatu when they was big, when they was the new Beatles. Well, I should have known, shouldn't I? I should have known. I always suspected Fit to Be Tie-Dyed of being a bit of a Donald Sutherland on Animal House. You remember that? The pot-smoking professor. Yes, educating Rita. Yeah, not Mr. Chips, Fit to Be Tie-Dyed. The Jeffrey Epstein list. My wife has sent it to me. She is gasping. Do you remember that moment when what's his name? Terry Diaper realised that and Costa Coffee was the first man to circumnavigate the globe, and he got really excited and he said, I've got to tell all my friends. Well, that was the moment. What was I talking about? I don't even know why I'm up here, actually. I think it was just to have a pop at you, Fit to Be Tie-Dyed, because I cracked up earlier when you said it was a Bobby Whitlock moment, wasn't it? It was like, well, yeah, I know, you know, I know Bobby. I mean, it's like when John Heaton told me off for being, sexually perverse about Coco Chanel, Bobby Whitlock's wife. And John Heaton told me off because he thought I'd gone too far. But in his speech to me, he did say, "Listen, I know Bobby's gone a bit far fetched." So he even admitted it himself. He admitted he was embarrassed. Now, Fit to Be Tie-Dyed, much as you love and respect this Canadian band, so it gives it extra points in your point of view. Do you think that Klaatu's performance, when I say Terry Diaper's performance on Rachel's stream the other day was just a sign that he's getting a little bit too old now? You know, he's had a little bit too many drugs. What do you think? Oh dear, calling occupants. Anyway, listen, I think I can show. I think with an F. Right, I think I can show you one more time. I know you don't want to see it, but I've got it up here, so I might as well use it. We'll see Terry Diaper in action. Here we are, Terry Diaper. I think this is Terry. Let's have a look.
These things have fascinated me, and I write about them. I was watching the show on some Discovery Channel or something about great explorers of the Earth, and of course Magellan's at the top of the list. And while I'm watching this show, I found out that he died in the Philippines and never did circumnavigate the Earth. The captain of one of his 5 ships, Sebastiano Elcano, actually took over, sailed the what's the ship called? Victoria?
7 Seas.
The flagship. He sailed it back to Spain after loading up with spices. Barely made it home with 18 of his men. And King Charles of Spain granted him a coat of arms for his family. And it says in the top in Latin, first to encircle the globe.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because, and let me finish here, Michael. I'm sorry.
Shut up, Michael.
Because he didn't write a book. He went back out on the road, on the sea, and passed away somewhere, who knows where. He just fell into ignominy. And back then, instead of going on Facebook or the internet, you wrote a book about the things you did in life, and that's how your legacy came about. And he never did. So he faded away from history, but he is the first man to circumnavigate the Earth. When I found out this, I was astonished and felt I had to share it with other people that like history the way I do.
Yeah, your love of history is paramount in this new release.
Paramount.
I can't stop laughing at it. It's so funny. It is so funny. Even watching it in real time, though, was even funnier. And yes, this is like the trial of Doctor Who. You know, the unsuccessful series back in the back 1986, I think it was. And we had what's his name, Baker, not Tom Baker, Colin Baker. Oh God, Colin Baker. We hated him as Doctor Who. But anyway, yeah, fit to be tie-dyed. Do you remember you made that eloquent speech to say what's all the fuss about with Bobby Whitlock? The man's a genius, and you know you did a really good job. I think you did more damage limitation than what, because I think John Heaton inadvertently let the cat out of the bag with Bobby. You know, it was good times and it was bad. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times. But but like I said, can you do the same for Terry Diaper? That's the thing. I mean, don't ask me to choose between the two of them, but there could be a lot of mileage in Terry Diaper. A lot of skid marks in Terry Diaper. Yeah, do you know, I watched Bobby actually the other day. He's still doing his streams, but he's a lot less famous than what he was last year or 2 years ago. But honestly, all I can say is the laugh. I can't get it right. Listen, he was right about it. He was right about it, but don't you think it was all sour grapes from his point of view? I mean, I thought when he said that, it was so obvious, it was so bitchy, it was so sour grapes, it was so, look, I'm more famous than you think. Now, a lot of us think we're more famous than we think, but we're not, really, we're not. So all narcissists out there, not including you, fit to be tie-dyed, because if anything, you're the reverse of a narcissist. But I mean, when you take a good look at yourselves and say to yourselves, well, listen, is it my right to go onto strange channels and start telling them about my weird fetishes? I mean, I saw Mr. Mayo today. I didn't see it all. I just happened to, obviously, I put my fucking channel on, and guess what? He's up there again. He's up there with Captain Chaos. And I don't know what they was talking about. I thought, is this what it's come to? Is this what it's come to? It's like, you know, when House Party used to be on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon back in the late 70s. And it was, you know, because the men were all supposed to be at work, the kids were all supposed to be at school. There wasn't anything else apart from that and housewives. So, of course, the women had to put up with this dreadful program called House Party, and it was a bunch of middle-class John Heaton wives all holding a cup of tea, slicing up a cake which they'd baked themselves, because, you know, even middle-class women were supposed to do jobs at home. You know, they were housekeepers. And, you know, there are very posh schools for stupid upper-class women who can't do anything else just to learn how to bake bread, basically. Because I went out of a girl from one of these places. It's called Ranny's. Look it up. Really famous posh school for trainee posh cooks. I've made an apple crumble. Oh, let me taste your apple crumble. That's how John Heaton got to know his wife Natalia, or as he calls her, Natalia. No, it's not. It's Lady Rochford, Lady Rochford Loose Knickers. Yes, she was a beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. She had all the jockeys in the area. Oh, she was a great horsewoman, a great rider, they called her. But anyway, when she wasn't so warm and beautiful, she was caught in Lord John Heaton. But anyway, look, we're not going to talk about that because it's bullshit. And I'm not allowed to talk about that because he'll get his man to come round and horsewhip me. And us working classes, we do not like horsewhipping. Because, you know, they talk about the black slaves. The fucking black slaves had it made. They had it made. Oh, you're going to fuck this woman tonight. Yes, we want you to have a kid. You know, and you make sure that you know, and all this good stuff. Well, you get your food, young Samuel. You get your food at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You understand me? Yes, boss. Yes, boss. What about English people? We didn't fucking have that luxury. No, we fucking didn't. We had to stand on our own 2 bastard feet. And the Irish were the same. But that's what they're moaning about. They're moaning, oh, why did the English not feed us? Because you didn't fucking feed yourself, because you didn't do crop rotations, you daft fuckers. Sorry, Martin McGrath, you know, it's a touchy subject and all, but, you know, I've got to take the fucking Englishman's point of view. I have, because I'm sick of it. Every time, oh, the genocide, oh, the terrible things the English, oh, bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, let's see what Witters has been up to. Yeah, well, yeah, we know that. Oh, Southern TV. Oh, do you remember that? Doom, 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 doom. And I'll tell you who else. When I think of Southern TV, I always think of that bloke with the frizzy pubic hair, the grey frizzy pubic hair, who always used to moan about the football being on. Or there's that bloke Marshall, he does the narration on ballroom dancing. You know, and he goes, that's a cha-cha-cha. Right, now, he used to be a newsreader, really dull-looking bloke, sort of bloke they'd pick as Felix Leiter in a James Bond film, you know, really dull. Marshall, that was his name, yeah, and he was. I always remember his boring face, and he'd get all moody, like, you know, when they couldn't do the cuts right, because he was like an anchor man. And next, our film, and I remember, this is why I hated his guts, because I remember when the TV series Planet of the Apes come on. Now, I'd never been on such a level of excitement. I think it was about 1975. Now, I'm sitting up and Peter Marshall's on, and it felt to me like he was trying to delay the beginning of Planet of the Apes, the series. And, you know, this was, 8:30 at night. And, you know, I was allowed to stay up and fucking watch. I'm saying, come on before my fucking dad changes his mind. And because he used to do that, my dad, he used to be a fucking wanker like that. He's like, oh, I've had enough. Go on, get to bed. And that was that. and you couldn't argue with a brute like my father in those days. You know, he'd go mental if you did. Oh, what did you go? Blah, 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 blah. No, I mean, I've been going through family disputes, and I says to my daughter, I said, you don't know what it's fucking like. I said, you don't know what it's like living with a fucking Charles Dickens father. I said, I was always good to you. I said, just because I'm teaching your kids who to keep away from, or my grandchildren, by the way. Well, I said your kids because I was in such a bad mood. I said, and they've got no right coming home and telltale titting on me. Anyway, oh, Beetle Babe, I saw your video the other day. I noticed you'll get, you know, when she does her lipstick videos and things like that, she gets an average of about 12 people watching. Since this fucking nuclear fallout over apple scruffs, mayo scruffs, you've been getting about 150 people minimum. And not to mention the live streams. I mean, I told you you'd be a million seller, didn't I? I said to you, you know, keep the heat up, and you'll get views. Because what do people want after Christmas and New Year? Scandal. That's what they want. Anyway, I saw it. I saw a bit of Miss Mayo today. It was so boring. Yeah, it wasn't even worth watching. That's why I watched a bit. I tried to get onto Rachel's channel, but she wouldn't let me up, unfortunately. That's 2 days in a row because I actually tried to get up when Klaatu was up there. I mean, when I saw that, I thought, that's it. I've got to get on the show. And she blocked me without a word. But I did call myself Dave Crosby Magellan. So she was a bit suspicious. Yes, it was. Oh, just to say, very interesting. Probably the most interesting back in Brazil video I've seen so far, Beetle Babe. But I was thinking to myself, we don't know a lot about it apart from Tom Hunyadi saying he didn't do back in Brazil and he was upset about it in Brazil. I've said what I think about him doing that song any time on this planet, and it's not a good thing. Well, she was actually, but she's called Tallulah on the list. My name is Tallulah. Classic. I haven't seen, but maybe it's been banned for paedophile reasons, because I remember when that Bugsy Malone film came out and we all went to the ABC Minors to see it. It was, we're laughing our tits off. It was such a good film. But I think it hasn't aged well because I think it encouraged the wrong sort of people to go and see it, you know, especially, you know, Jodie Foster was in a bit of trouble for doing that film, wasn't she? But it was all good fun for a kid at the time. You know what I mean? Oh, God, you can't do a bloody thing these days, can you? Hey, Marty, my name is Tallulah. Listen, I don't want to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein list because, do you know what, when I get back home tonight, my wife's just going to talk to me about Jeffrey Epstein because she's a bit obsessive about that. I wish she'd be a bit more obsessive about serial killers. I tried to get her. You remember when that Dharma series come out on Netflix, and I'd get the point where I knew she was sitting next to me. Because me and my wife, we sort of do our own thing, but sometimes we can be in the same room and sit together. So anyway, if there's one of her programs is just about to finish, and then I'll get on something like, well, I was trying to put Jeffrey Dahmer on. Oh, what's this about? Oh, Jeffrey Dahmer. Who's he? I said, oh, remember that serial killer that used to eat people, black people? Oh, really? Oh, we got to watch this. So, you know, I mean, now, once upon a time when we was young and in love, I used to force her to watch Hammer House of Horrors. In fact, I used to force her to watch horrible films, you know, history things, you know, really unpleasant things. But because since being with my lovely wife, we've learned to love animals and to get to one with nature, and it's cheap and it's good fun. It's good fun, and you know, and you can only do it on about 50,000 pounds a year, unfortunately. But I mean, like I said, it's all going all right. You know, it's all going good. So let's have a look. Oh, where is the? I see your sister. Your sister's having problems. It's a bit like the Brontes, isn't it? A bit like the Brontes. You might all die from lead poisoning because of poisonous water. The Industrial Revolution did that to people. Oh, how I thought to myself, 2024, and then I forgot about it. I thought, no, I said last year, I said, remember, this isn't a new year. It's just tomorrow. It's just the next day. That's the way you've got to look at it. The British invented time. Don't take it too literally, especially not if you're an Aborigine or something. Oh, well, I mean, all I can say about him is he's been told, he's been warned time and time again. He's so arrogant that he just won't listen. He won't listen. Do you know, even Captain Chaos made a very profound speech the other day on his channel about animals and how it's horrible to kill them. And you know what? There wasn't an ounce of humanity from fucking Mayo's reply. What a evil pig. In fact, do you know what? I wouldn't trust him around animals, because I think if the dogs start barking, he'd shoot it like Son of Sam. That's what he is. He's like Son of Sam. Trouble is, your son of Sam without the charisma, Mr. Mayo. That's a good film about murderers. What's it called? It's called what is it? Come on, tell me. What's the Son of Sam film? Summer of Sam. Yeah, it's a good film. It's a clever murder. And I also like the Boston Strangler one with Tony Curtis. That's great. Brilliant film. And of course, there's a load of Ted Bundy ones out there if you're interested. And don't forget John Reginald Halliday Christie, 10 Rillington Place, best murderer in the world, and he's English. Yeah. Very true, BB. Yeah, well, it's not just the way he treats animals, it's the way he treats humans, Beetle Babe. I mean, it's diabolical. It is diabolical. He's the sort of bloke who would have worked well for Stalin. You know, he would have done. He's such a control freak that he won't listen to anybody. He's always right. And, he even come up with, what an arrogant fart. He even come up against, what's his name? Pop Goes to 60s. I said to Pop Goes to 60s, you got to have a fucking pop at this Klaatu bloke. I mean, he is the greatest discovery since Michael, really. In the idiot stakes. I mean, we've got certain constants out there in the vinyl nerd community, but it's always great when you get these people that spring up out of nowhere. Let me tell you about the story of Captain Cook. Did you know that he circumnavigated the globe 3 times and discovered the Hawaiian Islands, which he named the Sandwich Islands? Yes, long story, but we'll get in touch with Klaatu and we'll ask him what he's discovered from the Discovery Channel. Right, well, that's about it for tonight. He would do, do you know, but I think he's saving it up because but you could see how nasty. I was watching Pop Goes the 60s again, having a pop at Andy One Leg, and I thought, yeah, humiliation time, lap it up. Eat dirt, mister. Because I thought, no, he deserves it. And Mr. Mayo's trying to say, oh, it's his thing. It's the way he is. And I thought, well, okay, but if you're in front of potentially billions of people, you've got the right to say whatever you want. But if you start talking like a cunt, then somebody else has got the right to put you in their fucking place. And next time you come up with that stupid argument of how is it a cash grab, just shut up we know it's a cash grab. It's that simple, Beatley Toe, for fuck's sake. Anyway, I'm not giving you any fucking predictions, because like I said, I'm not going to be that arrogant. I'm not. I'm going to let Beatley Tone do it on his own program coming up soon. I know. Oh yeah. Just to mention it, I did see him trying to be funny the other day with this fucking rant about self-service. Now I'm thinking to myself, self-service is fucking brilliant. Self-service. I mean, especially in places like McDonald's and KFC, because you don't have to put your order to the person at the counter who sometimes gets it wrong. No, the computer doesn't get it wrong. The people get it wrong. So you're taking away 3/4 of the problem. Now, you're not going into a Gordon Ramsay restaurant. You're not going into the Ritz or the Dorchester or John Heaton's men's club. No, you're going into a shitty takeout fast food restaurant. What do you want? What do you fucking want? Waitress? It's become like a fucking annoying old man. Do you know what? Like my wife's mum, my mother-in-law, she's got this habit of going into supermarkets. Of course, she doesn't do anything these days. She's retired, but she'll take about 2 hours going around the supermarket because she wants to talk to people and annoy them all the way around. And I've seen her in action because we had to fucking wait for her one day while she went round. She's talking to kids. She's talking to the woman and she's just being contrary with them, just being abusive with them, or just, I want to talk to somebody. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you don't need that bullshit. They don't need that bullshit. You know, we can interact with humans. We don't have to go to a restaurant to interact with humans. We're there to eat food. But if we go to a nice restaurant, we'll be paying for a waiter, won't we? They haven't got to the best restaurants yet, these fast. For fuck's sake, some people are never happy. Hey, I'll tell you what, I'll put a piece of fucking cucumber in your sneaky burger that you'll get next time, and it'll poison you. Bit of vegetables in your, that's what you need, bit of fucking veg in your life. Anyway, listen, I said I was going to leave him alone for a couple of days while yeah. It was, yeah, I did say I was going to leave him alone for about 2 days while we get Klaatu out of our system, because he does think he's a lot smarter. This is what annoys me. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel, you know, I know that Andrew Dixon is not making broadcasts for a reason, because he hasn't heard from any of his corporate friends about the next release. As soon as he does, he'll be straight up there before anybody else. Oh yeah. Yes, this is why we've disinherited Andrew Dixon, I'm afraid to say. But anyway, look, I'm not here to have a go at everybody, but that's it. That's about it. I'm going now. I've got another drawing to wait for, and then I'm leaving the Inner Sanctum. And I should have called this the Inner Sanctum Part 4, but because it's 2024, I'll just call it 2024 Predictions. Well, she did. It seemed like she was backing down, but maybe she's playing a bigger game. Ooh, stand by, people. Stand by. In the inner rectum. Oh, yeah. Calling underpants. Oh, Beetle Baby, you've got to check out this geezer. Because, like I said, not only will you learn about Magellan, but you'll also learn about the oranges of the wonderful song Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft. Fit to be tie-dyed, saw that before the Carpenters ever made it. Oh, there you go. Well, on that sinister, ambiguous note, I'm going to leave it. Goodbye.